Hi folks, welcome back to another episode of Retro PC. What I have in front of me here is a Toshiba P875-S7310. This is a broken laptop. I've already attempted to try to repair it, but it has one of those issues where it powers on, makes some fan noises, and absolutely nothing happens otherwise. No screen, no hard drive boot, no nothing. I've already taken this apart about halfway to see if I could find anything obviously outstanding in terms of an issue. You know, RAM loose, hard drive loose, or obvious corrosion or something exploded. You know, just looking for anything. And nothing stood out to me, and it's one of those things where at that point, is it worth fixing? Not really. It would cost more to fix than it's probably worth. This is a pretty old laptop at this point. Not extremely old, but old enough to where any type of investment like that just isn't worth it. So in a final attempt to repair it, I'm going to do a full disassembly and more focus on just the disassembly on how to do this unit, because it's not that easy. It's one of those ones that has some hiding screws, and there's a bit of a process that has to take place to get it to fully come apart. It is a well-built machine, and it's not really one of those laptops that was meant to be taken apart due to the easy access on the bottom, which is really great. And I wish more computers of today, especially gaming laptops, copied this. And what I mean by that is, of course, these easy open panels that open up and display hard drive and all these things just right there for you. It's not always the case on a lot of these laptops today. You don't get that easy access. So the sad thing about this is this thing is in impeccable condition. Let me turn this here. All things considered, it is just gorgeous, and I really am upset that it doesn't work. I mean, it is one of those Toshibas that's got pretty decent Harman Kardon sound and would make a great laptop even for today's use, for basic computing use today. So it's really unfortunate that it's not in a working state, considering it has this good of a condition. It doesn't add up. But it is what it is. So, let's not waste any time. Let's take this thing apart. First things first, of course, removing the battery. Next thing we want to pull is this panel, which doesn't look to have a screw. Oh, excuse me, it does. This is also one of those computers that has tons of little rubber covers for all of the screws on the bottom, and they did not skimp out on screws whatsoever. Well, that's going to be a tough one to get out. It's not the easiest one to take apart. There we go. The funny thing about these rubber stoppers is they're usually, after they come out once, it's tough to keep them in place after that, unfortunately. Not the case for this one though. So there's the panel, which is great. You know, I love that easy access type setup where here's the hard drive, additional RAM bay, of course, which is great. You got your wireless, of course, there as well. Super easy caddy with ribbon. Just pull and pop. So that's fantastic. Okay, now for the fun part. I think actually first we should do the hard drive, which looks to be connected by this screw here. Should allow this to pop out, and it sure does. There's our basic hard drive bay. I'm sure it's a DVD drive. It did come with Windows 8. Give you some perspective on when it was made. So we are fully disassembled on the bottom. Next thing you want to do, before you start prying, is there are screws underneath this keyboard that must be removed. So you have to do the keyboard next. Best way to pop the keyboard is through that now empty drive bay. I'm actually going to try to use a smudger tool here to see if I can do this. If you just push up on this corner, it should start to pop, just like that. And there it goes. Once you have that done, there are, I believe, just one cable, which is plenty long, which is great, that you'll want to remove. Pardon me again if my head gets in the shot. Popping the two clips here, we'll remove that ribbon no problem. And that's your keyboard. If you're wondering if this computer has a good keyboard, no, it doesn't feel great. Once that's off, you can then begin removing some of these screws. One thing to note is the RAM is right here underneath the keyboard. There they are. Looks like we got two 4 GB sticks, so 8 gigs of, I believe, DDR3 RAM. Yep, DDR3. Now the fun part, prying off this faceplate to get to what's inside. And this is always that interesting step where you got to figure out where do you want to start prying. It feels like right here, there we go, is best. Now, this is probably going to be a lot easier for me this time because I had started this process originally and never completed it because, one, I wanted to make a video on it. It wasn't that fun to do, and I thought, I'm going to put the time in, why not record it? It's always a unique process trying to pop a computer apart that does not want to come apart. Go. I don't believe there's any other ribbons I need to be aware of, but doesn't look like it. But it is stubborn. This case is so stubborn. I feel like something here just doesn't want to play ball. I don't believe there is a screw I need to worry about there. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So in the In the battery drive compartment, or the hard drive bay, there is one screw that I'm gonna get. I know it's off camera, but don't worry, I'll show it in a minute. I just want to get it out. No wonder I'm having such trouble. There's so many screws. So there was one more screw hiding right here in this corner hole. Now that I've done that, this whole thing just came up. Oh, I do see some ribbons I need to be aware of. Okay. Pop that out. So there is a tiny ribbon, which I thought looked like a problem, but it just looks like it's not at all. It's fine. So that's not the issue. Looked like a broken ribbon. I was actually able to get in here, so I need to figure out how this ribbon wants to come out. Oof, that's gonna be a pain in the butt. So this one might be one of those really delicate processes. Figure out how that wants to pop. There we go. Should just come right out now. There it goes. So it popped out no problem. And then I feel like we have one more. Yep, that one. Okay. One more little guy here to pop. And it looks like it's the power for the fan, or the connector for the fan. Oh man, that is really tiny and stubborn too. There we go. That should be all of them. And you'll see this whole faceplate now comes right off. Which brings us to the guts of the machine. That is how to fully disassemble this Toshiba model and get to the actual motherboard and all the other connectors that you can't get to from the easy access panel. You can get to these RAM slots simply by getting the keyboard out. So if you ever did want to upgrade these for whatever reason, or I don't know, whatever you needed to do, or just replace them, that would be how to do that. Everything else then is located right here. And it looks fine to my amateur eye. But again, it's just not one of those things that I think is going to be worth the money to fix. And that is how to disassemble the Toshiba P875-S7310. It's not so bad if you know the steps to take. Going in blind would leave you a lot of trial and error. So I think the big thing is just knowing to take the keyboard off and get those screws out before trying to pry, because you could cause some pretty serious damage if you weren't to do so. The future of this machine is very bleak. I am going to put it back together and try to power it on one last time, just to see if any of my tinkering has done anything at all, which I doubt, but it's worth a shot. It's really unfortunate to see a machine in this good condition just not be able to survive any longer. I don't know where to go with this, but it will be. I do plan to take some parts out that I can for other projects, and properly recycling the rest at the very least is what this machine's fate will hold. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye.